This Online Safety Act, Orwellianly named, is plunging this country into a China-style surveillance state. And so there are two key things I want to flag inside the Act. Section 44, which allows the Secretary of State to unilaterally force Ofcom to change the rules about what needs to be censored and what doesn't, without an act of parliament, without a vote. So basically, it's a death knell of democracy in that respect. The second one is Section 179, which is even more insidious. What it does is make it illegal to say something that is false, that causes, and I quote, non-trivial psychological harm. And it's not just making that illegal, it is forcing social media companies to proactively censor that speech. And the penalties that are being imposed on these social media companies are things like 10% of global revenues and potentially criminal sanction for management. So what's that going to do, Ben? It's going to create an incentive structure for social media companies to over-censor, because that's the rational thing to do if you're trying to protect shareholder value. And we've already seen in the less than 48, I think 36 hours since this thing has come into force, we've seen protests of against migrant hotels in Leeds being actively censored on X, by the way. And X is, thanks to Elon, supposed to be the last bastion of free speech. And we're seeing tweets which criticize immigration being censored. And now the Telegraph reported last night the Prime Minister has brought about a quote, and I quote, an elite police force, not to protect British people from illegal migrants and the crime they're committing, but to monitor anti-migrant activity. We are slipping into a world which would frankly make Xi Jinping blush. And I want to remind the viewers, as much as Keir Starmer is an abomination and we despise this Labour government, it was the Tories who created this whole situation. It was the Tories who voted it through pretty much unanimously, including the likes of Jenrick, including the likes of Braverman, the ones who now present themselves as anti all of this stuff. They voted all of this stuff through. And I want to emphasize, if we don't do something about this quickly, it is going to be normalized. And I'm telling you, these social media companies, even X with the might of Elon behind him, is going to be no match for the brutality and the power of the British state.